My name is Loy Gross. I am an online learning specialist and an adjunct instructor here at Genesee Community College. And I'm here today to tell you about my vision of college as a modern Lego set. So first I want to start with a story. This is a story of a student that I met in February. So she called. She was motivated. She had a clear vision of what it was that she wanted to accomplish, and she had made space in her life for college coursework. She was ready. And we got to talking. Working student, the courses that she needed were not available until fall. So here we are in February. She missed the spring cutoff. And we're telling her that the next on-ramp isn't until August. She's standing in front of that door. The door is shut. I cannot open that door until August. And I'm just hoping she's still going to be out there when I do. This student is not a one-off. We have a lot of students. I talk to them every day. For about 50 years now, we've known what works for adult students. Malcolm Knowles came up with 6 assumptions about adult learners. Knowles is my dude. Okay, I'm going to call on him a couple of times today. But he said adult students need to know why they're learning. They need to be the ones to drive the car. Okay? They bring life experience that needs to be respected. They're ready to go when life says go. It's time. They want real-world application and problem-solving skills, not memorization. And they're not motivated by grades or sticky stars or anything like that. They're motivated by an internal drive, an intrinsic drive, a need to grow and to expand and to improve and to create meaning in their own lives. So let's go back to this idea of college as a modern Lego set. Bear with me for a minute, but our degrees here at GCC have this interesting dichotomy to them. They're capped at 62 credits. And so you have this list of courses, you must take these. These are the courses you need for your major. And then over here we have our gen eds, which is a checklist. Take one from this column and one from that column and one from the other column. But they're pretty jam-packed as a path. And then on top of that, we have our students who need developmental courses. If they need developmental courses, we're introducing additional delay between the time they want to start and the time they're able to even start that path. It's a pretty fixed blueprint. What if instead we had flexible pieces? Pieces that students could build their degrees in chunks or their educational experience in chunks and have those chunks create meaning for them. Students could start small and then expand. They could shift direction. They could pivot with the need. Some students would come to us ready to build immediately. Some students would come to us with pieces from other places that they would put in. And some students would arrive very underprepared. The structures for each student would look different. Not because anybody's cutting corners, but because every student's foundation is different, every student's goals are different, and every student's path is different, and all of those paths are valid. So I want to show you a little bit of what I'm talking about here. This is the Lego Botanical set. They're Lego kits of flowers, and it's intended that you build them, and sometimes they come with a vase, but most of the time they don't. You build them up, and then you put them in your own vase or on your own table or however it is that you want to display them. Well, I love Legos, so I got whole bunches of these as gifts for birthdays, Christmas, what have you. It was over a year I was collecting these botanical sets, and they sat collecting dust. Not because I didn't like them, but because I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. And then I had the moment where I knew what I wanted to do. This is a Lego flower wall. I make it by putting together some of these Lego botanical sets with some extra pieces. Once I had my inspiration, now I have motivation, now I have purpose, now I have creativity. I went and researched the pieces I would need to put this together, and I built it in a weekend. That's how adult learners operate. They don't learn because we tell them to. They learn when they have the vision, when they know why. So let's go back to the student view here. For an adult student, every course has to connect. Every course has to have meaning. When adult students are saying, why do I need an art class? It doesn't have any meaning for them. A flexible modular framework would allow creativity. And it's not just the adult students, not just the returning students. Students who just want to upskill, they just want a few credits. Students who are first generation and don't know a lot about college. Students who are homeschoolers, who are on an entirely different structure. Even some of our 18-year-old dorm and dining hall traditional students, maybe they need a little bit more time to figure out what they want to do with their lives. But they can identify a piece of it now. That's what Knowles was talking about when he talked about readiness. My student from February, she was ready. And we had the pieces. But we didn't have a structure where she could build. So, who is doing this? Well, Coursera, edX, Google Career Certificates, they're out here doing this thing. They're not popular because they're online. They're popular because they're responsive. Students know what they're learning, why they need to learn it, and they can start now. They didn't invent a new kind of student. They're catering to a kind of student that's already out there that traditional colleges aren't always thinking about. Now, some people will see this as competition. I see it as an opportunity. Coursera is out there proving that that kind of student exists and that that kind of course is popular and can be successful. And you know what? We have the bricks to build that kind of experience. So, I have two facets of an idea that I want to share with you. The first one is to make the why visible. In the IT world, we have something we call tech stacks. Now, my tech stack might be PHP and HTML and JavaScript. Okay, that's my tech stack. Might not mean anything to you, but to an employer, it tells them exactly what kind of projects I'm ready to start and what ones I'm not. And for me, it gives me a self-identity. This is who I am in the tech world. This is what I can do. And for both of us, it gives us an idea of what steps I might want to take next when it comes to growth. At GCC, we have micro-credentials, and they're starting to become popular, and they're very, very similar ideas, a handful of stacked courses, but we're looking at very technical micro-credentials, accounting, blueprint reading, medical billing. That's great. What if we could do that for transferable skills? What if we could make soft stacks for our students? So we got a student out here, maybe they want to get into politics, or maybe they want to get into political fundraising or charity fundraising on a big scale. Okay, you want a civic communication tech stack. What's your civic communication tech stack? Well, it's public speaking, English 101, business communications, political science. Maybe we'll throw in international relations, call it a global thinking stack. But here's your civic communication stack. I'm going to share this one with you because I got to thinking about it. Strategic thinking, not just creative thinking, but strategic thinking. Philosophy, creative problem solving, CPS 101, business communications, project management, and statistics. Can I make students excited about statistics when it's a checkbox on a gen ed? No. I can try, but we all know how that's going to work. Can I make students excited about statistics when I tell them it's 90% logic and it's helping you grow in your strategic thinking stack? Yes, I can sell that. And students will understand it. So a student, when they can walk up and say, my stack is collaboration, cultural awareness, and leadership. It's not just a bunch of buzzwords. It's a self-identity that they've built course by course with real meaning. Now up here, this is a 3-in-1 Lego set. If you've never seen a 3-in-1 Lego set before, they send you one set of bricks and 3 sets of instructions, and you build what you want to build. That's what I'm talking about here with our soft skills stacks. And that's what Noel said when he talked about learning not because we tell them to, but because they understand the why, they understand the purpose. Second facet, let's make the when possible. Let's go back to my February student. The first on-ramp for that student was in August. That's terrible. On paper, we have options. GCC has all kinds of formats. We have asynchronous courses. We have night classes. We have HyFlex classes. We have half semester. We have late start. We have summer. We have winter. We have all these things. And yet, it didn't align with the student's needs. There wasn't a structure where that student could onboard. So I got to thinking about this. Our semester is 15 weeks long. What if we broke that down into 5, 5, 5? We already have 5-week classes in the summer and in the winter, and we have 5-week classes, and we've learned something from that. Not every class works well in 5 weeks, but some work really, really, really well in 5 weeks. So maybe a student's taking a 5, 5, 5. Maybe they're taking a 5 plus a 10-week. Maybe they're taking a whole 15-week class. Whatever makes the most sense for the course and the student. But here's the important part. We have an on-ramp every 5 weeks. Every 5 weeks, we can open that door and say, please come in. Let's add to that, we're going to stack developmental courses with 100 levels. We're already doing it in English. Let's do it in math. And not make those students wait. Noel said students learn when life tells them go. Let's be ready to welcome them. So these aren't 2 separate ideas. They're one student-centered vision. We're going to make the why visible, we're going to make the when possible, and what do we get out of it? We get motivation, we get engagement, we get student agency, we get student success. Now, I'm not going to say that this is easy. GCC is the most student-centered college I've ever seen. If it was easy, we would already be doing it. But a lot of the barriers that we face, scheduling, faculty load, accreditation, financial aid, a lot of those barriers are not insurmountable. And some of them exist simply because of habit. We're used to things being a certain way. We need our own creative problem solving. GCC is already a leader in distance education and flexible formats. We've piloted new modalities for SUNY. We're best practice. We support our faculty in creating quality asynchronous courses. We support co-requisites. We're starting to deal with PLA. And our learning models are all wrapped in best practice. So we have some of this going on. Now, Coursera can offer scale, a little bit on price, but we can offer something that Coursera can't. We can offer community. At GCC, your instructor knows your name. Somebody calls you if you don't show up for classes or if you're missing assignments. We care. It's not just content delivery for us. It's real education with engagement, with empathy, with relationship. That's what we have that they don't. And I got to be honest with you here. I'm not suggesting we do anything new. I'm not suggesting we create anything new. Everything I've mentioned we have here on campus. I'm suggesting we do it more intentionally, with whole frameworks that are wrapped around what the student needs. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to guide it, take our own processes and expand them. We have the pieces. It's time to build. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.